Back here on the herd, Jason McIntyre in for Colin Cowherd. We're joined now by Greg Jennings. First things first, it's on After the Herd. Greg, Fox Sports NFL analyst, played famously with the Minnesota Vikings and this other team, green and white, in the division. How are you, man?
Stop it. I'm good, man. How are you?
Excellent. You know, I'm not as good as you. Greg Jennings, we're now like a muscle-bound Arnold Schwarzenegger, basically. And he also talks about the NFL. Greg, let's start with the Saquon Barkley, the big news. You surprised at this? It sounds like it's a rare deal, one that hasn't happened since 1994 with the adjusted tag. Your thoughts on Saquon staying and returning to camp?
Well, look, right out the gate, if you're a Giants fan, obviously, or you're in that locker room and you're a part of that Giants organization, this is a big deal. Obviously, everybody wanted Saquon to continue on being a part of what they're trying to establish and build upon what they did last year, making the playoff appearance, which, in my opinion, was a large overachievement for that young roster. However, if you're just solely looking at it for Saquon in the running back state, this was not a good look for the running backs at large, and even Saquon Barkley being offered, obviously, more money early in the offseason, declining that, saying that he was going to hold out, he was going to stand on his principles. And I get it. You don't want to miss an entire season. We've seen that play out with Le'Veon Bell, and it didn't do him any great service and benefit him. However, when you're Saquon Barkley and you're in this situation, you know how valuable you are to this offense. Make your team sweat a little bit. Like, he wasn't going to be fined. Like, sit out at least a week of training camp or something. Give them the media something to talk about, and the cameras and the microphones, have them pushed up to your quarterback's mouth and see what he answers, and your head coach and your general manager, have them answering some of these questions that are going to make you look more favorable, because everyone who's a fan and in that media knows how important he is to that team. But all in all, it's done. It is what it is, and Saquon Barkley is back in the big blue.
Yeah, we saw the story of the Nyheim Hines unfortunate jet ski accident, and he's lost for the season. The Buffalo Bills now are going to need a gadget back who can also help on special teams. A lot of guys out there, Leonard Fournette, Kareem Hunt, Zeke Elliott. Do you anticipate the Bills making a move on any of them?
You know, I'm not sure if they will make a move on any of them. Nyheim Hines, what he was able to do in the return game was why he was so valuable for this team. Unless you're a guy who can contribute as not a non-every down back and you're contributing on special teams, yes, I think they will go out and try to add to their roster. Obviously, they're going to do that anyway. But one of those guys, they don't add any extreme value outside of just playing the running back position. And at this position that the guy that they're losing, he brought so much more than just being a running back. It was more so about the special teams play.
All right, let's go to wide receivers. One of my favorite stories in the last couple of weeks is Justin Jefferson asked for his top 5 quarterbacks in the league. Did not name his guy Kirk Cousins. Now, this has divided people a lot. It's like that dress thing. What color is this dress? It's like, we know Kirk Cousins is not top 5, but shouldn't he name his guy?
Correct. No. Like, I get it. I get it. He's answering it honestly. And I think it would be different if Kirk Cousins was at least, like, anywhere close. But he's not even close. Like, he's a great player. I don't think Justin Jefferson will deny that. However, he's trying to give a legitimate answer in response to a question that a lot of us are asked: who you have in your top 5? And none of us, even if Kirk Cousins was our quarterback, and even if he did answer Kirk Cousins, we know that he doesn't truly mean for Kirk Cousins to be a top 5 quarterback or believe that he is. It would just be to save face. And let's be honest, Kirk's going to throw that man the ball regardless. Like, the Vikings aren't going to have success if Kirk is not throwing the ball in the direction of 1-8.
Yeah, I don't, Greg, I got to disagree. I mean, listen, okay, so
you're on the opposite side. So
it's tough because if someone had asked you when you were at the height of your powers in Green Bay, give me the top 5 quarterbacks, you would have had to said Rodgers, right?
But he is.
Okay,
like, that's the thing. That's the difference.
Yes, I agree. But, like, hold on. But
when I was in
Greg,
Miami and when I was in with the Vikings, I played with Christian Ponder, who I spoke glowingly about, but I would have never listed him as a top 5 guy just because he's my quarterback, or Matt Castle or Teddy Bridgewater or any of those guys, or Ryan Tannehill when I was in Miami. I wouldn't have done it just to do it. But if your guy is legitimately one of those guys, then, I mean, throw his name in there.
Okay, fine. So I was going to get at this. Like, what if it were Rodgers asked when you were at the height of your powers, Aaron, give me your top 5 receivers in the league, and he didn't name you because you had better stats than Driver in your best years. And, you were right there probably in the discussion for top 5 receiver in the league. What if Aaron didn't name you? Would you have been like, my guy?
Listen to how you're even framing the question. I was at the height of my career, and I was legitimately one of the top. Like, that was – so if he doesn't, then it's like, come on, man, what you doing?
Wait, okay, Greg, hold on. Kirk Cousins, according to Pro Football Focus, was like top 10 in the league the last 3 years. And, by the way, 13-4, Kirk Cousins led the league in comebacks last year, Greg. Come on, put some respect on his name.
Look, I like Kirk. I think he's a viable quarterback. I'm not putting him in top 5, and I have no problem with Justin Jefferson not putting him in top 5.
Fair enough. Receivers like to stick together. Let's get to Dak Prescott. I made an impassioned plea earlier. Listen, man, that Dak contract – they ended up having to trade Amari Cooper. They cut Zeke. And now you got Trayvon Diggs is like, I need to get paid. Zach Martin, looks like a holdout's coming. They got to pay Micah Parsons. They got to pay CeeDee Lamb. A lot of problems all stemming from that Dak contract. He's got 2 wins in the playoffs. That's it. He led the league in picks last year. Greg, where are you on Dak? Like, is it time that the Cowboys say, hey, you know what? Maybe we just get a stacked roster. We move on from Dak, and we do what the Niners are doing, find like a game manager who could just get us there, and we got all these skill players, and we're good. Do you think Dak is long for Dallas?
So I think Dak is playing for his career as the quarterback in Dallas' future, as far as the future is concerned. I really do believe that. I think at this, where they are going into the 2023 season, his performance is going to determine whether or not Mike McCarthy remains at the head coaching position this next coming up season. He obviously, you're owing Dak Prescott. You're going to owe him too much money to part ways with him. So I think he'll see a couple more years out of Dak Prescott being the quarterback. However, he's playing for his career. Like, this is not just a throw in the towel type of a year. Obviously, you talked about their roster, the guys that they're going to have to pay, the situation that they're in right now with the potential holdout with Zach Martin, their guard. Like, this is real. And if Dak Prescott doesn't prove that he is worth what you decided to pay him, then that's going to brew problems. We already heard Jerry Jones talk about him not being concerned with Dak Prescott in future contract talks. He's not even trying to address that. Why is that? Because he has to prove, not only to Jerry Jones, but to everyone in that locker room, that yes, they can, that he's not just a great leader, but that they can actually win and win consistently and get deep into the postseason, get to an NFC championship game, potentially a Super Bowl, and we'll start talking back again about Dak Prescott and his contract extension.
So, Greg, I'm with you on that. Finally, we agree on something. He had 6 games of 2 picks last year. And remember, he was hurt. Cooper Rush comes in, and the game manager, I know, the opponents weren't great, but Cooper Rush did go 4-1 with the loss being to the Eagles, who ended up going to the Super Bowl. So I wonder, like, are we in the era, are we headed there in the NFL where it's like you've got a superstar quarterback, a top 10 guy, a Mahomes, an Allen, a Cousins, or whoever, and then otherwise I'd rather just not pay my quarterback the way the Niners have Brock Purdy on the cheap, and go that route. Because, like, if you've got one of these middling quarterbacks, like a Dak Prescott, the odds of winning the Super Bowl, paying him a lot of money and not having a lot of guys around him, Greg, it's starting to seem like a long shot.
Yeah, I don't believe that that's where the league is transitioning when you look at the quarterback position, because can you name another team outside of the 49ers that use that method, that is using that method currently? You can't. It's just so happened that the 49ers are a unique case, and they have shown that because of injury, they've had to have a revolving door, and it hasn't really mattered until unless you're talking a few years ago when their entire roster was pretty much dismantled due to injury, who they have at quarterback. This is something that is unique to the 49ers. Let that breathe. Leave that alone. If you have a guy under center that can spin that ball and lead your team with excellence and greatness, and he can get wins, you sign that guy up for a long-term deal, period, point blank.
Yeah, that's fair. The only one I would say that was close. So Kirk Cousins last year, they went 13-4. I know they didn't win a playoff game, but also Ryan Tannehill, remember, with the Titans. They were the number 1 seed a couple years ago. Again, they didn't win a Super Bowl or anything, but you can have a lot of success without overpaying your quarterback $1 billion.
You can have the guys that you're mentioning and naming, they have had success. Is it sustained success at a certain level? Are we talking just get us to the postseason? Yeah, because then if that's your standard, then you can find a guy that can just get you to the postseason. If your standard is we're trying to get to the NFC Championship game repeatedly, consistently, and put ourselves in position to where we can actually contend for a Super Bowl, you cannot use the method that you're referring to.
All right, we'll see if they can pull it off. Final question. Greg, I've got to ask about my Jets. TJ Houshmandzadeh came here yesterday saying like 12 wins. Eric Mangini is out here like this is 11 and 12 win team. I'm waiting for you to just crown him. I know you want to crown him. Go ahead. 13 wins. They're winning the AFC. What's happening with my Jets?
I'm not going as high as 13 wins. When you look at their first 6 weeks, I was on one of the other shows on the Carton Show, and I said their first 6 weeks that's the gauntlet, and they could potentially go 1-5. But if they get out of that 2-4, 3-3, I think the back end of their season will be a lot more favorable, and they will start to hit their stride. So I do have them winning at least 10 games, maybe 11, depending on how they finish that back latter half of their season. But this is a team that has a lot of potential, and until it starts to unfold itself, which we all kind of anticipate it doing that, barring health, This is a team that should be fun to watch all season long.
Yeah. Greg, I like you, so I'm going to give you a betting tip. Season opener, Jets-Bills, Monday Night Football. Go ahead and take the Jets. They're going to win it. They're going to win that game. The line has come down.
I'm not going with the Jets, man.
Would you take Bills on the road in the opener? The Aaron Rodgers opener?
Yes.
Oh, please.
I am.
You see how they bottled up Josh Allen last year in the 2 games? I think they sacked him 8 times.
Here we go.
Come on. It's exciting.
I get it. You have every right to be excited.
About damn time,
You have every right to be excited.
Yeah.
It is.
Been bad for a while. All right, Greg Jennings, catch him next on First Things First, where he's going to be lauding my Jets, I'm sure, in New York. Greg, thanks. Good stuff, buddy. Take it easy.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd or go watch a few segments from other shows on FS1.